Hello CIS scholars. Scholars, are you all watching my videos? Yes? So scholar, till now I have completed two parts of chapter 10, that is the coming of the Europeans, and now I am going to discuss the third part of the same chapter. So let's see what we have in the video. So scholars, I have already discussed about the European traders in the first part, and in the second part I have discussed about the English East India Company and the method of expansion. Okay, so we have already read that how Britishers they use the method of war to bring more territories under their control, right? So one method which they have used, that is the war method, and in the previous video I have discussed about the two important battles that were the Battle of Plassey, which took place in 1757 CE, and the Battle of Buxar that took place in 1764 CE. Fine. Now in this video I am going to discuss the other method of expansion which is used by Britishers. And what was that method? That was their policies. Okay, so let's discuss the two important policies. One is the Subsidiary Alliance and other is the Doctrine of Lapse. Fine. So let's see first the Subsidiary Alliance. Now the Subsidiary Alliance system was a method which was started by Lord Wellesley. As you can see in the picture, this is the picture of Lord Wellesley. Okay. Now he was appointed as the Governor General from 1798 to 1805 by the British. Now, the system was applied completely to bring Indian powers under the control of British without spending money on fighting wars. So, what was the aim of this particular system? That the Britishers they don't want to spend money on fighting the wars. So they want some kind of technique which can be used or implemented on the Indian rulers, and through that they can be dominant towards the Indian rulers. Fine. So they use this policy. Now let's read what this policy is all about. According to this system, any Indian ruler who felt threatened by external attacks and internal revolts. Now there are two terms. One is external attacks and Indian revolts could take help from the English or Britishers. The British enter into an alliance or a partnership. Alliance means partnership with Indian rulers and take the responsibility of protecting them. So according to this system, if the Indian ruler they felt any kind of threatened by the external attacks or by the internal revolts, then they can take the help of Britishers. Okay, but for this the Britishers applied many rules. So let's see what are the rules. So there are many terms and conditions which was applied during this partnership. Now the Indian, what was that terms? The Indian rulers they had to accept certain terms and conditions. First, for the protection of the Indian rulers, British troops means like they are the group of soldiers, okay, would be permanently placed in the territory of the subsidiary state. That is the first one. Second rule was the ruler would have to pay for the maintenance of the troops. So whatever the amount which was spending related to the maintenance of the troops, that amount should be bared by the Indian ruler. Okay. Third, he had to keep a British official at his court. Then he could not employ other European in his service or remove those who were already there. And fifth, he could not form an alliance or a partnership with any other power without the permission of the English. So ultimately what happened, the entire system or the Indian rulers they are under the control of Britishers. Okay, now this is one policy. Now the next policy is the Doctrine of Lapse. Now in 1852, Governor General Dalhousie they extended the British control by applying the Doctrine of Lapse. Now this was an act which was enforced by the British government to occupy the states and the lands of Indians. Okay, so it was basically implemented by British government just to occupy as many as numbers of states and the lands of Indian subcontinent, right? Now what it shows? It shows that now the Britishers, they were dominant, and it also showed that Mughals were weak and they had lost control over many parts of India. Okay, now let's read the system. According to this policy, if the ruler of subsidiary state or a state under British control died without a natural male heir to the throne, his or her territory would pass into the hands of British. So it means that according to Doctrine of Lapse, if an Indian ruler died without a natural born heir, heir means a person who will legally receive money, property, or title from another person. Okay, now that person, when the person dies, okay, so the state would automatically come under the control of Britishers, in the hands of Britishers. Okay, now this was also implemented even if the adopted son were not recognized as the heir of by this policy. Fine. Now the states of Jhansi, Satara, and Nagpur were annexed in this way. You can see in the picture, it is shown through this chart. Satara in 1848, Sambalpur in 1850, Udaipur 1852, Jhansi 1854, and Nagpur in 1853. Fine. So this was also this is what the doctrine of lapse. Now, due to all these policies, what happened? The Indian rulers, the farmers, and the soldiers, they all were very unhappy and annoyed with the British rule. Okay, so what they did? They actually start revolting. Okay, and they all revolt in 1857. So in the next video, I am going to discuss about the revolt of 1857 and the rise of nationalism. Now by the time, what you have to do, you have to read this chapter, especially page number 97 and 98, and read these two policies thoroughly. Okay, by the time, take care of your health, stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy the video. Thank you.